Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. We have a very big patch on our hands for Dragon Ball FighterZ. A lot of people are saying this is effectively Dragon Ball FighterZ 2. This is like a whole new revision of the game. It's pretty crazy. Lots of things have changed. We have massive system level changes, how the game itself works, and a lot of big changes for all the cast. So first up and foremost, there will be timestamps for this whole video. So skip ahead to what sounds most interesting to you. I'll have everything covered from the system stuff to the character stuff. If you want the full patch notes, it'll be in the video description. And as a very quick note here, things that are just like bug fixes and all that, we'll just skip over that. And there is a lot of redundancies in that a lot of certain styles of moves, like beam style of moves, a lot of certain styles of normals, they all sort of got the same changes. So when I'm on that character specific wise, I'll go over it pretty quick because I got to go over it pretty quick for many characters. So please forgive me for that. But yeah, lots and lots of stuff. So I guess we'll get into it. We're going to start with the system level changes first, as in a way those are more important. And then as we go through that, we'll just go to the character specific stuff once again. Please check the timestamps to skip to whatever's most interesting to you, as I'm sure this is a very long video. And thus, with that in mind, if you could spare a like, hey, that'd be nice. With that said, now let's get to the system level changes. Now, our first system level change, and this is already off the bat, perhaps the biggest change in the game, is off Z changes. So Z changes, just another word for tags, right? When you tag in your characters. So you can now tag off special moves. So before in the game, you could obviously raw tag, just tag raw. You could tag off normals, and like Yamcha would be a very good example of that, as his auto combo would hold you in place. From there, you could get a pretty safe tag, right? But now you can do it off any special move. So with that in mind here, let's use Yamcha again. Just use EX Wolfang Fist. Pretty long-lasting move, right? And we'll try to do it here in a block string. And the enemy's got to block for a long time, but now, since we can tag in off specials, you're still blocking by the time I can move my second character around. So basically, you can enforce all kind of mix-ups from there, right? I'll leave it for you character to character. There's going to be so many permutations, so many examples. One thing to note, though, for these longer-lasting moves, like a Kid Buu arm ball would be another one you can use to lock people down with. You cannot left-right people while they're in block stun. You can use high-low mix-ups, yes, but not left to right. And that is, of course, just on block, right? This applies to all special moves on hit or on block. So if you want to go for, like, say, a very basic combo here, the old dunk, normally you would call an assist at that point, right, for Android 16. But now, well, frankly, you can just tag in and keep the combo going from there. So without like spending hours of examples here, I just want to stress this is one of the biggest changes in the game's history, and by a lot. Both on block, it redefines what pressure will be. This is a lot more than just the usual, you know, I bop you up in the combo, give you the boot, tag in, that kind of stuff. This is off everything now. So you have to rethink and redefine a lot of what your combo structure is, a lot of what your team layout is, because so much more is possible than it was ever before. Like even simple small stuff, like say I hit you with my beam, right? Oh, convert, use vanish, burn a bar. But why burn a bar now? Because if I know I got the hit, it's tag time, baby, and I get a free air combo. Like, that's a lot better than burning a bar for advantage, right? And that's hardly an optimal example. But yeah, just to finally stress this one more time, this is a big deal. Now, guard cancels here. We got 2 new guard cancels. So the basic guard cancel works the same way you remember it, sure. But we can also now do it in the air. So there's a lot of aerial pressure, a lot of air setups, all that kind of stuff, where you just block all the way down to the ground, then you got to keep blocking from that. You can choose to get out before you hit the ground, right? So in a way, it gets you out of a lot more brain dead pressure. Still costs you a meter, right? It isn't free, but you know, it's worth the cost if you know you're just going to go down into Mixed City as soon as you hit the ground, right? So that is there, and it's about as advertised. There's not too much to say more than that. We also have the new Vanish guard cancel. So this takes 2 bars a meter. And it works, well, like a vanish. So just as a guard cancel is forward and tag while you're blocking, this is forward and vanish while you're blocking. So the real strong things about this is it keeps the same character. So you don't have to worry about tagging into a partner and if they got a lot of blue health they're going to lose or whatever. Like there's a lot of bad situations, right? And it's basically completely safe. But the thing is, it takes 2 bars. It does not wall bounce like a vanish or anything like that. There's no situation where you're going to get the big combo or anything. But it is a much safer version of the guard cancel at a much higher cost. 2 bars is not nothing. Meter is what makes this game go. So you're spending a lot for a safer way out. And you can find, you know, if you do it 2 times in a row or something, that's 4 meters. And then all of a sudden, yeah, you were safe 2 times, but your offensive potential potentially got crippled, right? But still, in the end, we have 2 more ways to defend ourselves, thanks to 2 new versions of guard cancels, both the aerial version and the vanish version. And I should say, this vanish is baitable just like every other way vanishes are baitable, right? So if they expect you to do this and they just wait a split second and then you go for that guard cancel, down heavy city, like reflect into combo if it's like going to be in the corner or something like that, or near the corner, like all the same usual pratfalls of the vanish exist. It is a vanish after all, right? So it's not 1000% safe, it's just pretty safe. The key charge has changed in that when it comes to deflecting key blasts, it now happens on frame 1. So yes, before there was a patch that added the ability to deflect, but you could actually be hit out of it, right? Like you actually had to already be doing it before it would reflect. Now, as long as you just see it coming, you can do it last possible second and it will still work. Also, while you're doing this, you can now Dragon Rush from a key charge. And the Dragon Rush is actually quite a bit further range. Like, yo, that's like what, like 3 times the range? Something like that? It's crazy. So it gives you an ability to offensively attack again after the fact. So if you specifically called out the key blast here, you reflected them, then you can go into Dragon Rush and kind of penalize them for it. It's hardly guaranteed, right? Very few things in this game are. But still, it's a nice little buff to both just using it in neutral, as you can now just, okay, I see it happening, I'll just do it on reaction, and then being able to counterplay a little bit, although the Dragon Rush part is not invincible to Key Blast, as you can see, but it lets you counterplay a little bit and go for this Omega range Dragon Rush afterwards. So one of the changes to Sparking Blast is if you are specifically on your last character and you are in Limit Break. The wording is, the effect of Sparking Blast will no longer run out when the opponent is damaged. Basically means Sparking can't run out while you're doing a combo on the enemy while you have Limit Break. So at the very least, you'll always have the limit and rather the benefit of the Sparking Blast while your combo is up. So if you need the Sparking Blast for the combo, and like, you know, dedicated movement options, all the kind of stuff that, you know, Sparking will allow you, this will work for you. It's only for limit breaks. It's not for regular characters. It's not in regular situations, right? But it's just a nice little quality of life buff for people in limit break. C-Assist fans, I got some good news and I got some bad news. So a lot of characters and the character specific changes, their C attacks are faster, like just like when you do the actual attack, right? But the recharge now is slower across the board. This is a universal change. C assists do not recharge as fast as they used to. The specific wording on this is lengthened cooldown time needed before the next usage. So in a way, C assists character to character, they can be a little bit better, but you will not be able to use them as often as you were before. So this is kind of a blanket nerf to C assists across the board. So one of the changes is to meter gain. So if you did like a super or an EX move, what would happen is normally like basically your combo for the duration of the move is going to have incredibly less meter gain, right? Like that's the penalty. Like you'll gain next to no meter because you did an EX. That's just how it is. And that still is how it is for the most part. But now there is a fixed timer. After this timer has elapsed, then you will regain meter as normal. So using an example here, we're going to use Broly's EX grab, right? And we're going to try to delay a lot of the hits to get past the timer. And by the end of the combo, the regular meter gain will return. And as you can see here, during these final hits of the combos, the meter gain has gone back to what you expect, right? So the big thing is you got to maybe tailor some of the combos to either delay hits or maybe change the route a little bit, but you can start getting meter again somewhat normally after this time limit expires. Another very big change to the game is how they treat being in the air. So now when you're in the air, for anything other than a basic jump, you are now treated as you have super jumped. Meaning, super jumps have air control, right? You can move forward and backwards in the air and all that kind of stuff. So that now applies to anything that puts you in the air. Like, say, a teleport, right? So now you have air control over that, which opens up a lot for a lot of characters. Like, say, Android 16 here. He used to have the gimmick here where I'll force you in a block string, the assist will lock you down, and then either I'll land on top of your head, or I'll land on top of your head and, like, air dash last possible second, right? Like, that kind of stuff. And now he can do this stuff without really much fuss, because he can air control and he can choose which side he lands on, right? So that opens up all the mix-up opportunities in the world. How about a Janemba? Because now Janemba all of a sudden can teleport on top of your head, and he can choose which side he's gonna land on and bonk you in the noggin, right? So his mix-up game now just got way better. And once again, when you're super jumping, all you have to do is hold up forward or up back after a super jump, and you will float in that direction. That is super jump floating. And now anything that leaves you airborne, you can do that same thing, that same kind of float. This applies to so many moves in the game. Like for our Android 16 example, Super Baby 2 has this, Vegito has this, right? The grab style move that leaves them airborne, and you can control with the float which side you're going to land on. Can be very visually difficult to tell. Goku Black, obviously, this is a big help to him, as this helps a lot of his teleport stuff. And it's not just EX teleport, he can also float off the regular teleports as well. And you got to think out of the box, because this applies to a lot of moves. Like Beerus' dunk technically leaves him airborne, right? So you can use the float to move back further than you normally would, or you can hold up forward to gain a little bit of space forward, right? This is every single move in the game that leaves you airborne in any way, shape, or form. That lets you control your air movement after the fact. So this is a titanically big change. Also, keeping up with the jumps. If you hold the S button now, it'll automatically give you a super jump just by holding up. As you can see here, I didn't hit down and up. I just walked forward, hit up, and it gave me an automatic super jump. And if you're running while doing this will give you an automatic moon jump. So no more complex hurting your hands controls here. This basically gives you a lot of easy use just all over. So this kind of stuff, like only the top 1% of players could like reliably pull off moon jumps in the middle of a match, right? And now anybody can do it. And this opens up neutral big time, to say the least. Also keep in mind too, you can float during moon jumps, right? So this helps your screen control, your mobility rather, big time. Once again, all you gotta do, just hold S. And this could be off holding HS as well. Say after a super dash, something like that. Just the simple act of holding S now makes your mobility so much better in the game. And you can easily hide it in so many ways. Or maybe even just toss a key blast or whatever, right? Once again here, this is a thing that will help play people at every possible level of play, really. Because, like, being able to do the big old moon jumps whenever you want, on demand, and not having to learn the very tricky motion and timing to do so, just helps everyone and helps out the game as a whole. Double supers are back. Kinda, sorta. So while they're far from their old glory days, to be sure, they're definitely better than they were before. So this here, the Warp Kamehameha does about an extra 400 damage. Like before this patch, it would have been like, what, like 150 or something? So if you're looking for that extra bit of oomph, it's there. It's far from, you know, being like the full 750, 800 it was before, back in the day. But now if you're a character that can do a double super, it is not as crippled as it was before. It is now more of an option on the table. So Just keep it in mind. Now onto the character-specific stuff, starting with Super Saiyan Goku. It is very fair to say Super Saiyan Goku is back. First up here, already big. So crouch light punch on block. Remember, crouch light punch, not a low hitting down light, useless garbage, right? And we all know that's always been wrong. That's always been one of the biggest lies of Dragon Ball FighterZ, but whatever. It is now 0 on block, meaning his stagger pressure is gonna get super real. Most pokes of any sort are negative, right? And this is being 0, and very hit confirmable and all that kind of stuff, right? This is just a very big deal. I don't know any other way to put it. Having a 0 on block staggerable poke, you're putting your life on the line if you dare hit out a button while he's like trying to pressure on you. So yeah, it's very good. Stand medium attack here says increase the distance move during the attack, and like, yo, it's like got double the range now. So when they say increase the distance, like they're not lying. Like at this point, Super Saiyan Goku is cooler, like bigger than cooler. Like cooler can't hit from that far away. Goku can. So that, and with the new and improved crouching medium attack, as boys, look at this range here. And yes, when you do it point blank, 10 frames, just like it used to be back in the day. So we got that, and we got the big range here. This, like, Street Fighter characters would be now jealous of Goku's range. Super Saiyan Goku is one of the kings of normals now in this game. Between the buffs he's got here, the range, watch your toes from half the screen, it is ridiculous. We have some hitbox changes here. Crouch unique attack has the hitbox just move downward a little bit, probably to help with combo stuff. Jump medium, this guy here. Extended both the hitbox and hurtbox downwards. Increase the active frames of the attack, and increase recovery, once again, probably just to help with combo ability. Medium Dragon Fist here has more range. Kamehameha is one of the bigger changes here. The upwards version, you can now super dash after the fact. So, combo structure, time to rethink it. Because so much more is possible now. Any grounded hit here, you don't got to go into the usual, the forever B&B, right? You can get a lot more creative and a lot more inventive because you can just follow up from that. Like, just to give an ultra basic example here, right? I can use that into the kicks, and now I can DR off my own combo pretty easy. I'm sure you can get more optimal, but yes, the combo potential has gone way up. And people smarter than me will figure out all sorts of new routes. In a change no one really asked for, but hey, you'll take it. So his level 3 now has an alternate version. So that's the base level 3 we all know, we've all seen for many, many years. Now if you do the move with heavy and S instead, you get a different version. What could be different? What could be different? Oh, he's keeping the same side, huh? So that's always been the bane for God knows how many years. You give up your corner potential if you use level 3 in the corner. And now with this new version, it's the same basic move. Like, nothing else is different, but you get to keep the corner. So no more switching out, right? So here we are, pretty as you please, and I got you in the corner, and I'm keeping you in the corner. So, big buff. His B assist got buffed here in that it moves further. Not a lot further, but it is a little bit further. And his C assist here, like pretty much most C assists, now starts up quite a bit faster as well. So that's Goku in a nutshell. He's definitely a lot better. His pressure's better. His neutral's way better. Everything is better. Super Saiyan Vegeta. Not quite as drastic as Super Saiyan Goku. So now one of the things here, his stand medium goes a bit further than it did before. So that's a nice little buff. Crouch heavy attack here, as you can see, goes a little bit higher up in the air. So maybe this will help catch stuff that he couldn't before. It's a little subtle, but it's there. It has the same change as Goku, jump medium, just to help with combo stuff. The interceptor kick, that's the unique dive kick he has here, down and light in the air. The speed of the move now decreases on hit and adjusted the knockback on hit. So perhaps some old like season 1 dive hit combos might be able to come back due to this change. I guess time will have to tell on that one. Super dash kick medium version here. The camera's adjusted just a little bit slower, like overall timing, just to really help with hit confirms, I suppose. Consecutive energy blast now has more chip damage. So chip damage is rarely a thing in Dragon Ball FighterZ, but if you look at Frieza's health here, you can see he actually is losing a decent amount of life for blocking. So I don't know if this is like a hint for Dragon Ball FighterZ 2 or something, that chip damage will be more of a thing because it's almost a non-factor in Dragon Ball FighterZ. But hey, there you go. Big Bang Attack. You might remember that there's a different version in the air. If you hit heavy and special, it goes like downward angled. Now, if you do that same thing on the ground, so the regular version does what it's going to do. But if you do it on the ground, he now teleports up in the air and shoots downwards. So could help with some combo structures, could help with just some stuff here that maybe the regular version was a little weird with. But overall, let's just say quality of life change. The assists. The old A assist, the tyrant of this game's history, right? Even after so many nerfs, it's still one of the best moves in the game. Increased stun time, increased hit stop on hit, meaning they're just in it just for a little bit longer if it actually connects. And the C assist has adjusted how the opponent is trapped. For my money, I'm not really a Super Saiyan Vegeta guy. I never have been, especially not during the C assist era of the game, so I'm not too sure visually what's different. If you do know, please post in the comments below. Piccolo, like many characters, has a medium buff here. Crouch medium attack goes further than it used to. Stand heavy. This guy here, you can now hold it and get a much bigger hit. Damage wise, it's 1,000 raw, and if you charge it, it's 1,300, so you do get a little bit of a damage buff. However, FYI doesn't change the frame data, so fully charged or not, it's always -9 on block. Now, onto his S attacks. It says here the regular S is sped up. Now, regular distance, you'd use that, not so much, but if you do it point blank, it actually is like 2 frames faster, right? So if you do it very close to the enemy, it is just a smidge faster than it used to be. Also, down S, the upwards grab, now has what we call the head property, so you can actually use it as an anti-air. Now, it might miss depending on hitboxes, as you can see, but at the very least, it is usable in the way you think it should be usable as an anti-air. Jump medium, like many other characters, has the hitbox changed. The Demon Elbow series, these guys here, they're pretty different. Because now if you hold the button, you actually don't get the elbow. It's actually like a total fake out. So if you want to be extra tricky, because that stuff's already pretty tricky to begin with, this is now a whole nether level to it. As you can fake out the elbow, not do it, and then go for like a DR or whatever you want to go for, right? So that is a very cool addition. Once again, all you have to do is hold the button. Just don't tap it, hold it, and you will cancel out the elbow. Special Beam Cannon. So this is a very silly change. So you probably knew you could hold it and move around, right? And if you hold it all the way, you get a little bit more damage. The thing here is this. You can now call assists while you're holding it. So if you got like the high block stun assist, there you go. Vegeta, hold him down. There we go. Hold him in place. That's basically like, you know, Goku giving Raditz the full Nelson, right? If you have an assist that can hold people in place, then it's perfect for the new and improved Special Beam Cannon. Now, realistically, I don't know how useful this will be in a real match, but it's cool. And sometimes cool is what matters the most. Also, it can steal the corner now. So before, you couldn't teleport into the corner. Like, the enemy would just keep the corner. Now you can steal the corner with it. So perhaps a very last second... Well, whatever. They're not actually going to get caught by that. But maybe the assist can catch him, right? So maybe that could lead to more gimmicks. Tien Gohan for the 5-hit combo. That's quarter circle forward, light, medium, heavy. For the light and medium versions, increase the stun time for follow-up attacks. So pretty much as it reads, just more stun time. The EX version, increase the distance move and also increase stun on hit. The distance move, it's not quite full screen, but it's kind of close to it. And once again, when it comes to increased stun, it's basically more combo ability, more stuff that can be done for combos and pressure, all that kind of stuff. The flying kick specifically here, this is machine gun legs here. The medium and heavy versions adjusted the distance moved during the attack. So it's just a little bit further and adjusted the range at which the attack hits. So as you can see, it's not a lot, but I guess it is something. The big changes honestly are with the assist. So the A assist has more stun time, so the enemy isn't hit stun longer if it connects, which can definitely help with combos. The B assist, this is very fun and interesting here. The B assist here for Teen Gohan. You might notice something different there, right? He now shoots 2 projectiles instead of the 1, right? So the notes, as they say here, increase the number of hits. Obviously, number of hits are 2 instead of 1. Adjusted the damage and adjusted the hit stop on hit. Regardless of the hit stop, it's obviously a lot easier to hit confirm from now, right? Because it's just longer and there's more hits. So in my opinion, it's just better all around. And the C assist, like pretty much everyone else, is faster startup. Frieza. So first up here, end of an era. End of an era, my friends. Because Frieza can actually down heavy a Broly with barrier. So my Broly friends, I guess the good times, the years and years and years where this was the case, the good times are now over. But there you go. So good quality of life. And this wasn't the only scenario where this affected Frieza, as before his 2H counted as a projectile, not a regular hit, allowing things like this to happen. But it was definitely the poster boy for this situation. So now down heavy is a regular attack, just like every other down heavy in the game. So therefore, it can actually stop moves that are immune to projectiles. As for some of the lower level stuff here, light, specifically the second hit of the auto combo now moves forward further. The end hit of the auto combo, this guy here, now counts as a real projectile, not a Ki Blast level projectile. Stand medium, like many other characters, moves further. But it moves further than you think. It moves further than you think. Let's just go all the way to full screen. Yeah, it still hit. It still hit. From full screen. Literally full screen, corner to corner. It hits. So I don't know who you are, like, man, I just wish this move had more range. And you're like, 75%? No. It has to go the full screen. It has to go the full screen. There you go. I hope you're happy. Like, I'm happy for Frieza to get a normal that literally just goes full screen. That's cool, I guess. But if you wanted it that bad, I'm glad you got it. His jumping down S, that guy here, that shoots the projectile. So the hit effect is different. It actually knocks people backwards now. It also increased stun time, has more hit stun. It says here increased delay, so perhaps the move is slightly more frame-wise. I'm not too sure, actually. But yeah, so interesting little change. Warp Smash, that's down S, the unique normal here. It says specifically change the attack's hit effect when performed on the ground. So as you see here, this nice little launch upwards. And the big one, Golden Frieza. So Golden Frieza's countdown timer now. Like, as you know, you can be Golden Frieza for a while and then it'll expire. It will now be reset in many situations. So let's say you tag him out. And then we gotta wait a little minute to, have Frieza tag back in. But as soon as you tag Frieza out, the timer completely and totally resets. So when Frieza comes back in, we're back at second 1. So it's not whatever the timer we had before or whatever, that kind of stuff. He is now just as you just started the move, right? And this also applies whenever he kills a character and you reset back to neutral. So any point when Frieza is either no longer the character gets tagged out and tagged back in, or he kills a character, the timer for Golden Frieza is reset back to 0, back to the start. So you can now just, I'm not going to say perpetually, there's a lot of situations where it'll be difficult, but you can now keep up Golden Frieza if you manage it correctly way longer. And if you get that final kill combo, you kill that character, you will start the next quote-unquote round with a full duration Golden Frieza again. At which point, mess around a little bit, use the speed, all that kind of stuff. And when you feel like you've been a little too long, tag out, and Frieza will still be there waiting for you with a new full duration golden buff waiting for you when he comes back in. So the Golden Frieza change is definitely the biggest change, for sure, because It's always been a maligned move kind of since the start, but now, after all these years, it finally may be where it needs to be. Captain Ginyu, one of the first things here, crouch light attack, reduced recovery. So this is now also 0 on block, meaning the stagger pressure is going to get a lot more real from Captain Ginyu. So pretty solid buff just immediately there. Stand medium now has faster startup. Also, it always had good range, so just good startup. Eh? That's nice. I'll take it. Standing heavy attack. That's the old spin, and you might remember if you hold it, you can like move around, right? You can now jump while doing it. So if someone's crouching, you can jump over their head or do like a fake jump and I don't know, man. Like, this is funny. I like it. I don't know how realistically useful it's going to be. If they're standing in any way, it will not go over their head. So just be prepared for that eventuality, I suppose. Like, even someone small as Kid Buu can't go over his head. But there it is. He can now jump while holding H. Body change. So the base body change is the same as it's ever been. But if you want to hold it to do the self-damage, here's the thing. It does more self-damage now, but the self-damage will cost you a bar. So if you want to do the self-damaging version, yes, it's better, but it's 4 bars now instead of 3. So you're giving them a very damaged Ginyu. Like, it's close to 50% now, right? Like, that's a lot of damage. But it's 4 bars now instead of 3. Just be warned. His B assist, as you can see here, gives now just kind of a full quarter of a meter. It's a very wacky assist to use, to be sure, but now giving just a full quarter of a meter, it's a much more attractive assist to use, to be sure, because meter is king in this game, and now getting meter from it, that's awesome. Trunks, like many characters that have a crouch light that does not hit low, is now 0 on block, making his pressure with it much, much better than it was before, so that's great. His down M, increased the attack duration, meaning more active frames, and also adjusted the distance moved after the attack. So here's the thing, with it having more active frames, the more you space it, basically the better the frame advantage will be. You can get almost, depending on the absolute distance, like I see -2 versus point blank, it'd be like -10, right? So if you mess with the distance, things can help a lot. Now on to the Cyclone Buster. Cyclone Buster, that is when you do the beam when he's doing his flips. So if you do the Cyclone Buster from the EX flip specifically, it's a little subtle. I just didn't understand it first. But basically, you just have a longer amount of hit stun to work with. The enemy will flip out just a little bit later than normal, right? Giving you a little bit more potential to get a conversion or a hit from it. Once again, it's pretty subtle, but it's there. Now, what's not subtle is the change to his level 1 burning attack, because it is now a level 2. So if you do the move as you've always done it over the years, sure, whatever. But if you hold the button during it, you'll do your burning attack, and then immediately you'll do your follow-up sword slices. So that's awesome. Level 2s are always a very huge boon for any character to have, and the Trunks to get a level 2, that's just fantastic. His level 3, and we all know as the grab, right? As it's specifically worded, extended throw range upwards. So basically, you can kind of grab people in situations you never could before. Before, that would definitely would have whiffed, right? It's not a guarantee you'll get people in the air, right? You can still whiff for sure, but it's definitely a lot better than it was before, a lot more reliable in those combo kind of situations off a straight hit. For the assist, his beam assist. Says here, sped up the attack startup, increase hit stop on the first attack, like the first part of the beam, I'm assuming it means here, and adjusted the hitbox before the attack. So basically, it's just slightly better as a beam. For Cell, first thing up here, crouch, medium attack, the old M Bison slide. It has increased attack duration, meaning it has more active frames, increased recovery, so it's slower to recover a little bit here, and adjusted the distance moved after the attack. I guess he hits the brakes just a little bit early. It's hard to visually assess, but hey, there you go. Standing unique attack. His Ki Blast now starts up faster. His Ki Blast in a game where Ki Blasts are pretty important has never been the best, right? So just making it even a little bit faster startup, hey, that's awesome. Before, if you did this move point blank, it would be 16 frames. It is now 10 frames, so 6 frames taken off the startup. So that's significant. Now, from further away, obviously there's travel time, so it takes more frames to get there. But overall, definitely just a much better move. Rolling Crush here, specifically the medium version in the air, adjusted the distance and increased the distance move during the midair version. So if you do it from basically full screen, it will connect, and also it'll have more corner carry if done in a combo. Perfect Attack added invincibility to jumping attacks partway through the motion of the mid-air version. So the mid-air version now has the anti-air property. So it's not foolproof, as you can see, it's not quite frame 1, but as long as you do it within a few frames, you'll have the anti-air property, making Perfect Attack very strong against homing attacks. The Kamehameha, much like Goku. If you do the air version, you can get a super dash after the fact. So this can open up a lot of combo structure changes for Cell. Energy Field is level 1 super, is now a true invincible reversal. So before, if I tried this, that elbow would have stuffed me out of the super, right? But now it is invincible on frame 1. So there's not many invincible reversals in the game, and Cell's got one now. A few other characters actually have some of their level 1s made invincible, but it definitely is a big benefit. So now, you know, pressuring Cell in the corner, like, you're always at risk of getting like touch death from a random Perfect Attack, and now that he has another invincible reversal to work with, he's going to be a difficult guy to pressure in the corner. His B assist, which is not many people's favorite assist, to be honest, it is better now. So it moves further. It doesn't quite move full screen or nothing, right? But it does move further, and it moves a little faster. It says here, increase the move's attack level, so hopefully it doesn't like clash with certain things. Increase the hit stop, meaning there's just a bit more time to assess the hit. Increase the stun time, same deal. And well, you already saw it. There's a spoiler. It's a wall bounce now, right? So this does open up some interesting things for combo ability. As it wall bounces anywhere on the screen, obviously we're not even in the corner, right? So it's not a corner-only wall bounce. So it gives it a bit more life. And like many other characters, his C assist startup is faster. Android 18. So like many other characters here, the mediums. The stand medium attack is now faster, 9 frames now, and the move moves a bit further. Not quite as far as some of the other characters, but not insignificant, as you can see here. Back grapple, the command grab, is faster now. Before, this move was real slow. The medium version used to be 30 frames, now it's 26. Her light version remains the same, it's actually 17. Just as a rooflemonger note, a lot of people never talk about this move. You know, 17 frame grab is pretty good, and no one ever spoke of it, so now you can, and like it's very good, it always was. EX version is faster, yet comes in at 24 frames. So the EX version was 28 frames before, and now it's as fast as a quote-unquote slow grab. So not amazing in the context overall of the game, but it's a lot faster than it used to be. The support attacks are pretty different here. The light version, the knee still happens, but as you can see, just Frieza stays in place. There's not a lot of extra movement on that front here, because the hit effect has been changed. The S version of support attack on the ground now does more chip damage, which once again, you know, some characters they're getting changes to the chip damage. 18 was one of the few characters that could actually put out chip damage before, and now there is more avenues of it. And if you do the air version, the barrier is active earlier than it was before. 17's more invincible earlier than he was before. The big change here is the barrier. So now the barrier is special cancelable. So special moves can now be performed when the move stops an opponent's attack. So if I catch you, say, doing a normal, well, now I can immediately command grab before doing it. So that's very interesting. So this applies to everything. Any special move is good to go. Even if you want to go all the way ridiculous here and just like level 3 them, as long as they're still in their animation, it's pretty much guaranteed. So it makes the barrier, which is already a pretty decent move, a pretty big threat. And yes, her C attack is faster now, just like almost every other character in the game. And yes, her C assist, almost like every other character in the game, is now faster. Gotenks. So Gotenks got many of like the air normal changes many other characters got. for jump, light attack, and medium attack, adjusting hitboxes, all that kind of stuff. One of the big things here is Great Rolling Kick. So the light version specifically reduced the move's damage when used in a combo and added damage scaling for the air version, meaning your combo will do less damage overall if you use it in a combo. That is specifically the light version only though, just so you know. The EX version increased the number of hits and made it easier to perform mid-air actions after using the grounded version. The EX version increased the number of hits and made it easier just to do mid-air stuff after using the grounded version specifically. So we'll have to, I'm not a Gotenks master by any stretch, right? But it just basically seems to recover a little bit quicker so you can do super dash or any air normals you want faster. Like many other style of barrage moves in this game now, Die Missile Barrage now does more chip damage. And see, that's not insignificant, right? Definitely more than it was before, so that's pretty interesting. The Heavy and S version of Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, the guy here where you can kind of control, you know, which one comes out, these will all do less damage overall. Gotenks, this is one of the few characters you can say is objectively just nerfed. Gotenks across the board will just do a little bit less damage than he did before. So everyone else is getting buffs, Gotenks, maybe not so much. Our boy Krillin got some buffs here. First up here, Crouch Heavy Attack. That's your down H. It is faster. It's not a lot faster. It used to be 12 frame startup. It's now 11 frame startup. So it's a singular frame faster. But hey, 1 frame faster is 1 frame faster, right? Also has better recovery than it used to before. Now when it comes to Stand S. Stand S is also 1 frame faster startup. So point blank it's 13 frames. Used to be 14 frames. So just a little bit faster. Down S and Jumping Down S both have their damage increased. So both versions now, before scaling, do 900 damage. Before, it used to do 600 damage. So just strict damage buff. And if you're using it in combos, well, that means your overall combo structure will do a little bit more damage. Solar Flare has more active frames. The follow-up Destructo Discs, they do more damage now. So the second one specifically, as an example here, say it does 880, right? Normally this would have done 800. So it's about a 10% boost to the follow-up Destructo Discs, making them just a little bit more attractive and viable to use. An interesting change to Senzu Bean. Now I'm sure you know Senzu Bean lets you recover blue health, right? But now it lets you recover health, period. So that's very interesting. So if you don't have any recoverable life, it's not going to be a lot of life to be sure, right? But it is something. Because before, it would basically just be a dead move, right? After that blue health. So if you can get anything past that, that's pretty alright by me. So it gives you an additional use of the Senzu Bean. And like many other characters, his C assist is sped up. Kid Buu, the guy who gets nerfed every single patch. And he's always been like the best character in the game pretty much for the whole game's life. Despite all the nerfs, got buffed. So yeah, that's interesting, right? First up here, Stand Light Attack, the first follow-up, so it's like the second part of the auto combo. Says here, extended the move's hitbox upwards, so I guess it'll be easier to work in combos. And just a knockback on hit. Jumping Unique, so this guy here, Jump S. Increased stagger time when the attack hits on the ground. Considering this is like basically his best cross-up, I guess this makes certain things just a little bit easier to use. And hitting combos, like that said 2 hits. And I missed the first part of the Mystic Ball, right? That was the part that bounced upwards. So that's probably significant if it has that much additional hits done. Not worlds more, as you can see here, but enough to make that 2 hits. But I'm pretty sure that never would have worked before. Speaking of Mystic Ball, when you're on the rising portion of the attack, so the bounce upwards specifically, it'll have additional stun time. So this should help with combo structure, and I've already seen online, Kid Buu has whole new combos possible. This is specifically for the medium and EX versions of the move, FYI. Arm Ball has more stun time. This also applies to the assist version of the move. And the B assist here, Mystic Ball attack, says sped up the attack startup. Before point blank, it would be 26 frames of startup. It is now 22 frames. So we had 4 frames shaved off of the startup of the move. For Majin Buu, one of the first changes here, jumping heavy attack. It is now 16 frame startup versus the 17 frame startup it used to be. Not the biggest deal, but hey, once again, a single frame, that could be the difference between you getting smacked or not, right? So there you go. It is 1 frame faster. Jumping down heavy attack, same deal. It is now 13 frame startup. Before, it used to be 14 frame startup, so it is 1 frame faster. Jumping S has increased stun time, so the enemy will be in hit stun just a little bit longer. The dive bomb, this is where he does his big old butt slam. The medium version specifically slowed down the mid-air version startup. As you can see, there's just a little bit of starting lag now. Maybe they thought mix-ups with it were too strong? Who knows? I'm not sure myself. The grounded medium version, however, now will pass through the opponent even on block, as you can see here. So that's pretty interesting. If we have the enemy set to guard first only, you can see they get hit. So there is a gap there. So if he's just doing like basic block strain, goes right into it, you will have to quickly block the other side. So maybe the air version just got a little bit of a love tap nerf, but this is kind of a direct buff in a way, because this is a knowledge check, because the light version will remain the same side, right? So you have to simply guess, did he do the light version or did he do the medium version? You have to guess very fast, because if you stay same side block and it was medium, you get hit by a cross up. And if you choose to block the other way and it was the light, well, then you get smashed. And remember, due to the overall system changes, you're going to get smashed for some big damage, because you can raw tag, because it's a special move, and you can raw tag off any special now. The cartwheel added invincibility to jumping attacks partway through the motion of the mid-air version. So the grounded versions were already plenty air invincible, right? They all had the anti-air property. But now, the air versions do as well. So there you go. So cartwheel is just a big old don't super dash at me bro style of move. The A assist has gone from plus 20 on block to plus 30 on block. So it's a buff and a nerf, because sometimes the low block stun is exactly what you want for certain gimmicks and setups. But now it just is overall kind of in the average territory with 30 frames of block stun. Now Nappa got some changes. A long time coming, many years coming, but he's here. Maybe. I don't know. He'll still probably suck, honestly. We'll see how it goes, right? But Nappa is one of the most changed characters year after year after year, and every time he's still kind of bad in the end, right? So we'll see. I don't know. But Crouch Light Punch is now 0 on block, like many other characters with a Crouch Light that doesn't hit low. So good for pressure, good for staggers. The old Stand Light Punch is now 6 frames. Used to always be 7 frames, now 6 frames, like a normal character. And keep in mind, it is a low too, right? So that's very handy. Stand M, now 11 frame startup, used to be 14. So the move is quite a bit faster. Crouch M says change the hit effect. Seems about the same as I remember it, so I'm not too sure on that one. All the usual stuff still works as far as I can tell, but I'm not too sure. Says they have increased recovery on Stand S, so meaning it's slower to recover than before, so I guess that's technically a nerf. They have changed how jump down heavy works, specifically when you hold it. That guy right there, right? Now, if you have that on an airborne foe, and you do the hold version, it'll ground bounce them. And you can super dash cancel the hit and all that, so leading to a lot more potentially interesting combo structure. The move itself, the actual hit is sped up quite a bit as well. And now connects, if you do this version here in 16 frames, it used to do that in 19 frames. Increased stun time, all that kind of stuff. Like, it just basically is much better at combo ability. And specifically for easy use stuff here, while you're holding it, if you hit S while holding the button, it'll automatically go into Super Dash for you. Now on to some of the big Cyberman changes. So Cyberman, now when he does his claw attack, he goes way further than he used to do before. So that's really interesting here. Also, the claw attack part of it, on top of going much further than it did before, is also faster. Medium Cybermens are now immune to Ki Blasts. And you see, even Mighty Broly himself, he's shooting all day. And he cannot stop the powerful medium Cyberman. So that's just cool. I like that. Now, he's not safe from being super dashed, right? But just having any kind of invincibility definitely totally makes him much more usable in neutral. And the EX Cyberman is now immune to all projectiles, as you can see. So no matter the kind of projectile it is, even if it's like a beam or a big boy one or whatever, it doesn't matter. It just walks through it like it's not even there. Also, EX Cyber, totally immune to assists as well. So you actually just kind of have to go and hit him now to stop him. So that is really, really cool. Jump S is now a totally different move. Oh my god. So it is now faster and moves further. So you can hit someone from almost full screen. Exactly full screen? If you do it low to the ground, not quite. If you're higher up in the air, then yes, you can with the explosion. But this is a move for many years is like, well, you had to use it, but it was bad. Now it's not fast enough. The dream's still dead. You're not doing that mid-screen, I'm sorry to say. Maybe Dragon Ball FighterZ 2. I don't know why they're so scared letting Nappa have that combo, considering everything else in this game. But Jump S is much better. Speaking of much better, Blazing Storm. If you hold the move, it now travels much further. Like, the regular version is still the regular version, but now if you hold it, it basically goes full screen. So it makes his full screen presence, along with Jump S, just innumerably better. Like, so much better. He's actually someone you have to mildly respect from full screen now, which definitely was never the case before, because it goes about 95% of the screen now. Also, the air version is faster than it used to be before. The air version is now as fast as the ground version. So before, the air version used to be 28 frame startup. It is now 20 frame startup. And finally, his B and C assists are faster. So Nappa definitely got a lot. Cybers are much more useful in neutral now. Has new corner combo structure. Has better neutral across the board. It's been many years, and my friends, he might finally be here. Maybe. Not too sure just yet. Android 16. One of the first things here. Stand light attack is now -4 on block, and it used to be -8 on block. So basically, this is just a buff to his stagger game. As it's much more reasonable for him now to like just do it, stop, do it again, as it recovers twice as fast as it used to before, effectively. Standing S says increase the hit stop on hit, meaning just basically it's a lot more easy to visually confirm you got the hits, as the screen freeze is just a little bit longer. So basically something like, oh, I got both hits, cool, vanish, combo time. That's about it. Jumping down heavy has been changed up again here. So after you use it in the combo here, and you see a little bit of a camera shift here, the smash property, what will happen is a little bit of a bounce. Now you can't get like jabs and stuff off it, unfortunately, but what you can get is a little bit of a dunk. And from there, you can do all the usual stuff you can dunk from. Time will tell if it's worthy, because yeah, I got buff before in the last patch, and debatably worth using or not, right, in combo structures, but now they can get just a little bit of an extra follow-up. Maybe it'll be better off yet. His basic regular command grab now does more damage, does 1800 damage. It used to do 1500, so 300 more damage. This helps him get some identity back as being the main grappler guy. I've always said since the start, ever since they crippled him back in the day, they're going to cripple him, make the grab scarier. So now the grab is scarier. It's not a lot more damage, but it's pretty decent as it stands. Combine this with the fact he has, you know, better stagger game, like you're going to get grab more often. Now the grab is going to do more damage. The medium and heavy versions are both faster. So the medium version is now 26 frame startup from 28. The EX version is now 24 frame startup from 26. So they're both 2 frames just faster. So when it comes to situations where before in the last patch it was buffed and it can go through like key blasts and stuff, that could be the difference between getting the hit or not. Also, they now go through assists. So yeah, they could go through like Ki Blast and stuff before, but now going through assist, that's a much bigger deal. So now it becomes like the I want to go through your garbage move, whatever you're trying to do, and now he's going to be a lot better at doing exactly that. Also, just the general invincibility against Ki Blast, assists, all that kind of stuff has been increased. Flying Power Bomb, the air versions, these guys here, they've had a anti-air property added to them, although it's a little suspect because there you go. See, I triggered the anti-air property, so I was invincible, and then I kept rising above his head, but I missed the grab, and then I got hit anyways. So it can be more useful, sure, when you're in the air, but make sure you're not wildly on top of them, because if you're like all the way on top of them, you're going to trigger the anti-air property and then get hit anyways. Hell's Flash has had some changes. The super, so increased stun time. It says the grounded version specifically now does more damage. And there's a new version of the move. So if you do heavy and special instead of the usual way, he'll now actually do the air version on the ground. So normally this is the grounded version, and if I do heavy and Ki Blast instead, I will rise up and do the air version instead. This could help in specific situations because the air version, well, it just covers more ground, frankly, right? So in situations where you might miss with the grounded version, you can do the grounded air version instead and cover a lot more range. And yes, he got better, faster C assist, like almost every other character. So overall, as this is one of my main characters over the years, better. Definitely still not as good as it used to be. I'm still a little salty about that after so many years. But now making the grabs finally scarier, this being the most damaging 17-frame grab in the game, that's really good because Broly's, you know, it's the same damage, right? It's always been. So now this is the premier fast grab in the game because it does the most damage. Making the medium and EX version better to travel across the screen because now they can go through assists. And also they're faster start up the boot as well. That's really good. So he's lost a little identity combo structure-wise over the years, but he's gained it now in this patch a little bit more grappler-wise. So I guess time will tell, but I'm happy enough with the changes. So for Yamcha, not a lot of changes. Crouch light attack, like many other characters here. If you have a version of Crouch Light that does not hit low, it is now 0 on block, meaning the pressure game just gets a lot better. Stand Medium moves just a little bit more further forward while doing the move. And Stand S, the hitbox now hits lower. So for some crouching characters, some of the smaller characters, the rats, it should be a lot more consistent in hitting those people. For the myriad of the Wolfang Fists, he'll now move backwards just a little bit after doing the move. I'm not a Yamcha main myself, so I don't know the significance of this, but that is how it is now. Wolfang Fish Flash, that's the EX version here, says we'll now have more stun time, so it should be maybe just a little bit easier to hit enemies after the attack is done. And Gale Claws, the uppercut. The midair version now changes if performed after a standing unique attack, a jump heavy attack, or a jumping unique attack. Once again, not being a Yamcha player myself, the full significance of this is maybe a little lost on me. The best I can tell is maybe it travels a little bit further to make sure the combo won't miss, but otherwise not too sure. And yes, his C attack, like so many other characters, C assist rather, is just a little bit faster. Overall for Yamcha, not too many big changes. Tien, one of the first things here, stand medium attack, is now a single frame faster, so it hits in 9 frames versus 10. Once again, maybe not the biggest deal, but faster is faster, plain and simple. Jump S has increased stun time, more hit stun. Now, one of the best things about this is before, like one of the big changes was Dodon Ray, you know, it can fall, kind of comes like Doctor Doom's pistol in Marvel 2, right? But now, because it has more stun time, you can actually turn this into a natural combo from much further away. Like before, a distance like this, that would never have been a natural combo, and now it is, so pretty cool. Volleyball Fists here, it says for all versions in the air, adjusted distance move during the midair version, adjusted knockback on midair hit, although to be fair, seems about the same to me. You know, the light version doesn't get a full knockdown, the medium version does, so I'm not too sure of that change. And increase the stun time for the midair version. Now, specifically now the medium version of Volleyball Fist. Grounded version can now stop overhead attacks here. Also, it is now, the guard point on it is just much better. It says increase the invincibility time, so the overall time for it, the guard point, is just better overall, so that's really, really cool, and I really dig that. The grounded version specifically will now deflect Ki Blast, but keep in mind, doesn't last forever, right? So might work on the start. I'm using Frieza here as a good example, just because it keeps going. But yeah, it's not an eternal deal. You will eventually run out of that guard point deflecting those Ki Blasts. The aerial version, by the way, has a guard point now too. So if you catch people in the air, you can just tank the hit and give them that chop right to the dome. And naturally, this also applies to the EX version as well. And since the EX version has a guard point, it means if you want to do the TK chop, that means if they try to mash out, you'll armor their mash and then crank them in the head. The crane strikes are all just quicker, pretty much. Light version now hits 24 frames, used to be 26. The medium hits at 26, used to be 28. Considering the nature of kind of being the gotcha overhead, the fact that they're any amount faster is very strong. Also, unlike the light version, the medium and heavy versions now bounce forward. So before, he would always kind of bounce away from you, right? Now if you do a medium or EX version, he goes forward. So he's going to stay on top of you. The move is negative on block, sure, right? But it's an interesting way to take it. Especially because if they want to, you want to toss in a system force block stun afterwards, it basically means you get to just basically stay on top of them without having like just air dash and have a kind of crappy mix up like the regular crane strike would, because you're just, well, forward, right? So you're just there and you can go from that. Also, I don't want to forget all this commotion, but EX grab, which is technically EX volleyball fist, now is armored as well. So in a way, Tien's like kind of becoming like Broly light. As there's a lot more stuff between like all the chops and all that, he can just tank through now. So I'm a big fan of that. And yes, naturally, his C assist starts up a little bit faster. Okay, adult Gohan. I know we got a million Gohan fans out there, so let's start at the top here. Crouch medium attack. Now has more active frames. Now moves a little bit further in the second half of the motion. And has overall increased recovery. Stand S. Now will hit enemies crouching kind of close up. So that's new. That's pretty cool. Also has more overall active frames as well. So yeah, before, using it at distance was like a fool's errand against most people because any kind of crouch ruined it. But now at least it will work. People close up crouching. But adult Gohan, realistically, all the big changes are in Potential Unleashed. First up, Potential Unleashed itself does more damage. Not a very small amount more. Before it used to do 1600, now it does 1645. And obviously each progressive level does more and more damage, right? So that in and of itself is not the hugest buff, but the fact that you're going to want to do it more because things get better now with Potential Unleashed. So now the first real milestone is level 3. Level 3 specifically, what unlocks is double air dashes. So you might notice, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta brought double air dashes to the game, all that kind of stuff. Well, normally I know Golden Frieza, all that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, so once you are level 3, you permanently have double air dashes unlocked. So that is really cool. That is very interesting. Now our next big gain is at level 5 specifically. Once you're level 5, reverse beat opens up. So that used to be only at level 7, right? Where you can take a heavier move and go into a lighter move. Normally you have to go like, light, medium, heavy, right? But now you can go heavy, medium, light. And that obviously unlocks a lot of block string potential, a lot of combo potential, a lot of everything potential. And now that's at level 5 instead of level 7. Meaning it's actually reasonable you might get it in a real match. Level 7's always been the dream scenario, sure. But if that's been moved from level 7... well, now we have a totally new dream scenario, because at level 7, all your special moves are cancelable into all your other special moves. Doesn't really matter what it is, like, you can go like uppercut, into like machine gun legs, like anything you can dream up here, beams into teleport elbows, uppercuts into teleport elbow, like whatever you want. Every special chains into every other special. The only thing is you can't chain the same special into itself. Otherwise, it'd just be like one never-ending beam, pretty much. But yeah, so it's a new way to go totally crazy. His A assist now has increased stun, so it's just a little bit easier to get it combo off a lot of the usual situations. His B assist now has more hits, and now has more hit stun. Has 50 frames of advantage on hit, used to be 40. So it's basically just better at what it already did. Also, as a bonus, it starts up 5 frames faster than used to as well. So just basically a better version of what the move already was. For hit, it says standing light attack added a Z combo to standing light attack. What this means is basically you can hold back and get the double tap. Not every character in the game can hold back and get 2 lights in a row. That's kind of character to character, but now hit is one of those characters. Crouching light, that's the dunk here, has more active frames. Stand medium now hits at 9 frames point blank, although obviously from further away it will take longer, but a frame faster, just like many other characters in the game. It says his forward medium adjusted knockback on mid-air hit. Now, in my testing, it's about the same as it's ever been, but I'm not a hit main, so maybe you can find some specifics on that I could not myself personally find, because I don't think it'd be in the patch notes for nothing. But in my initial testing as a non-hit main, I couldn't really find much. Direct hit, so that's light stance, light follow-up, that guy there. Says the attack speed overall has been sped up. Instant blow, that's the medium follow-up from the light stance. Says sped up the startup when hitting the opponent from the front or at a distance. So overall, just once again, faster move. And also increased its damage. Guard breaker, increased damage yet again. Hit damage can be low depending on the situation, so that's pretty cool. Now, to be fair, it's not a lot. It's 1,500, it used to be 1,400, but take anything you can get. The light and heavy versions of Icy Glare got much faster. So they now both hit fastest possible time here. 26 frames for the light version, 24 frames for the EX version. They were both over 30 frames. So this speed up, especially for the EX version, like this will definitely catch people sleeping. 24 frame unblockable from most of the screen away. Like that's pretty reasonable to catch people, right? And keep in mind, due to universal changes, you can tag cancel that and get a full combo now too, right? So that move is just much scarier than it used to be. The medium version is still a little slow, right? Because, you know, it hits from far away and you don't burn the meter like the EX version. But yeah, these moves are just much faster, the light and EX versions. And for a change that is not in the patch notes, if you DHC with any character, as long as you have a dead character, so when you call him, he'll do his normal level 1, but if you try to DHC and it's the dead character, he will instead do the Death Blow Super, and he will burn all the remaining bar. So if you have one dead character, try to DHC with the dead character, and instead Hit will come in and do the Death Blow instead, and if you have 7 bars, he'll burn 6 bars, right? So that is the big deal. So he can shotgun you down real bad. They mentioned this in the Dragon Ball FighterZ show. It is not in the patch notes, so just letting you know, it's a pretty big deal. For Goku Blue, first up here, like many other characters here, the crouch medium, increased range. It's about the same as Super Saiyan Goku change. I think this is across all the Gokus now. You're just going to have like the big boy down M. His overhead has an all-new animation. So there you go. Whatever you want to make of that, there it is. Stand heavy and crouch heavy both move quite a bit further. Stand heavy, very easy to tell. Definitely could not hit from that far away before. And about double the range or so for crouch heavy. Divine Void Strike, that's the elbow chuck here. They move just a little bit further as well. The EX version specifically, it says sped up the attack startup when the opponent is at a distance, so when they're further away. His command grab, the medium and EX versions of the move, are both quite a bit faster. Like the medium version specifically, it was like 30-some frames before. So that is just a strict, huge buff to his command grab game as they have become less reactable. The instant transmissions have increased block stun. So these moves were already plus on block before. You know, that's great, right? But now they're more plus on block, because before generally it'd be like, unless you caught them weird, just be like +1 or something. And now they're just +3. So it is definitely your turn if you're in their face. His A assist is like 6 frames faster than it used to be. So that is much better. Not a lot of people would accuse him having the best assist. It took a long time for this assist was even usable. And now it became kind of usable, and at 6 frames faster, man. Like, that's pretty good. And you know what else became 6 frames faster? His B assist. Hey, there you go. So yeah, that move's also quite a bit better as well. Much faster than it used to be. So a lot of the changes overall, and yes, he has the better C assist like almost everybody else, but it's faster. He just has better range to work with. The command grabs are better, they're faster. A lot of stuff's just kind of better and faster overall, so it works out. For Blue Vegeta, one of the more interesting things here, stand heavy attack now has quite a bit more range. As you might notice, this is a kind of a ongoing theme. A lot of characters getting their range just buffed for a lot of normals, which I'm a very big fan of. Has also more active frames as well. Like Super Saiyan Vegeta as well, the down H just seems to go a little bit further upwards. The follow-up here on his Rekkas, specifically this is the Light and EX versions. They both land with less recovery, so he can just move again quicker than he could before. On a scale of 1 to 10, the grab, the dunk, extended the move's hitbox downwards. Now, no, that doesn't mean you can hit crouchers. I'm sorry. It probably helps with like combo ability. Maybe certain new routes might be possible, but yeah, you still can't hit the crouchers. Big Bang attack, increased hit stop on block. Now, that's a really boring way to put it, because here's what it really means. It means it's plus on block now. Before, even point blank, it was like -15, 16, 17, something like that. So now it's plus. So that's definitely a pretty significant change from going from very negative to plus on block. When it comes to the assist, that also means the assist version is also a lot more advantage overall on block. Infinity Breaker, the B assist, for such a grandiose name. It always kind of sucked, honestly. But now has much faster startup, hitting at 20 frames, and it goes quite a bit further, as you can see, right? Maybe not as far as it should go, but about from the round 1 start position, it can finally connect. So definitely a big buff for that move. Definitely probably could have used a lot more than what he got, but at least he got something. So for Beerus, one of the most interesting changes off the bat is his stand heavy is now invincible to projectiles and assists. So if you want to toss all manners of projectiles at him, well, now you can't if he's on the ball. It's not perfect. You do got to hit it correctly, as you can see here, right? But I guess that's befitting of a god of destruction, I suppose. All of the spheres of destruction now do more chip damage than they did before, and also have more hit stun when they did before, meaning all new combo routes are possible. This is specifically, though, for orbs that collide with an attack, have the additional stun time. If they hit by themselves, as you can see, not so much, but when it collides with an attack, that's a lot more hit stun to work with. Also increase hit stop, just so it's a little bit easier to confirm your combos as well. The move Spheres of Destruction, that's where you summon 6 spheres here, actually recovers faster than it used to as well, so making it just a little bit more useful. And his B and C assists are faster overall. So lots of little things like I didn't mention here, like, you know, stand light follow up here, reduced hurt box, that's not that big of a deal. Beerus is still Beerus on paper, but due to the fact all the spheres have much more hit stun than they used to when used, like, you know, to hit in the combo and stuff, I feel like his whole combo structure might be revolutionized, so that can be a very big deal. Goku Black. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this day, and he's got some stuff finally here. First up, Crouch Light is a frame faster than it used to be. Stand Medium is also a frame faster. Here's a big one off the bat, though. Stand S. You know this guy, right? So Stand S, the regular version of Stand S, is now like a Broly projectile, meaning it'll crush all weak projectiles before it. And this also applies to the Forward S version, the faster version. So slow or fast either way, it crushes all projectiles that are weak. Now a little bit of a PSA, just because you have a Broly level projectile doesn't mean you get to beat Broly. Because you have one Broly level projectile. Broly has many Broly level projectiles. But against normal characters, it'll work out just fine. Goku Black has an all-new move. Crouch S. He now does a little Lindy Hop, and he shoots a projectile. Somewhat similar to Android 18, I guess, right? Considering he had no Crouch S at all before, this is only upside. This is only benefit. And the true potential of this, I guess, will be unlocked in time. But new move is new move. God Slicers, all God Slicers, have reduced damage scaling, meaning across the board, they will do more damage in combos. Fierce God Kick, that's the dive kick. Specifically in the medium and EX versions of the move, if you do a super dash in the combo at all, the super dash count is reset. So quick example here. All right, I got it. And now I can super dash again, right? It didn't connect because I didn't optimize the combo or whatever. But the idea is, basically, if you use your super dash and you hit the medium or EX dive kick, you get to use super dash again. The Binding Black Kamehameha, this guy here, now has faster startup. It used to be 31 frames of startup. It is now 28 frames of startup. So it's just a little bit faster, and you're a little bit more likely to catch the enemy. And here's a fun one, Holy Light Grenade, where you do the tag team big bombo there, right? That is now an invincible reversal. He didn't have one before, so now he does. That's a really big deal. So now he has some manner of defense besides just wake up level 3, right? One of the big things here, it's the universal change, but once again, for all the teleports, he now has air OK float motions. You don't need to super jump install it anymore. So that is a big quality of life change for him as well. Just all things being equal, this being a big boy key blast as well, like a lot of things work out in his favor. He definitely hasn't moved from like low tier to top tier or nothing, but things are definitely better. Android 21. Who knew she needed this many buffs, but she got them. First up, Stand S is now also a Broly level style projectile. So it will crush through all weak projectiles. I don't know why she needed it, but hey, she got it, so there you go. So Total Detonation Ball, the medium version. The move itself is faster. Point blank at 16 frames, used to be 18 frames. And it's exactly like Goku. So you can super dash right after the fact. So if you cancel directly into it, then it'll be a natural combo. You can go from there. So move faster, better. She also recovers quite a bit quicker. So a lot quicker, really, honestly. Like a lot. Like, so now she can definitely control the upper part of the screen by herself without needing assists, because the recovery is so much better. So faster, better, recovers better, more combos, like, man, what more do you want? I guess there's one small thing. It has increased damage scaling, so you'll do less damage if you use it in the combo. But considering how much better this move is all around, hey, whatever, who cares? The EX version, by the way, has increased stun time, so more stun on hit. And you can super dash cancel it just like the upwards ball. So if you do it in the middle of a combo, hey, have fun, right? Aerial Connoisseur Cuts now have the anti-air property added to the move. Not frame 1 like many other moves, but if you can catch the enemy, you'll see anti-air there on the side. So now you can use it to deal with random super dashes and all that, making her much stronger overall in the air, on top of now also being much stronger on the ground. It also says in the patch notes here, excellent full course, that's the level 3, now does more base damage, increase the base damage of the attack, so sure, why not, right? Her A assist now has more block stun, so it's plus 30 instead of plus 25. B assist is faster, 6 frames faster at that as well. Also has some mild invincibility now, it says here, added invincibility and made the character disappear at the beginning of the move. And yeah, so it's faster, and apparently she's slightly invincible while doing it. So there you go. And yes, of course, there's C assist is faster startup like almost every character in the game. So yeah, 21. Not a character I would have pegged for big buffs. Like this being so much better, combo ability, being able to defend herself against super dashes with the fact that her grabs have anti-air property now, like all this kind of stuff. But hey, whatever. This might be the last patch the game ever gets, so let's go crazy. For Bardock, one of the bigger changes here, like many characters in the game, Stand Heavy now has more range. Not a lot more range, but as you can see here, it can connect from distances you couldn't really connect from before. The medium version of Rebellion Spear now has reduced damage scaling, meaning if you use this in a combo and any other follow-ups, you'll now do more overall damage. The EX version specifically as well, reduced damage scaling on the additional attack, the follow-up that is, that guy there, and sped up the attack startup. So if for whatever reason you didn't think getting hit by random Rebellion Spear wasn't bad enough, the EX version now is 2 frames faster. Point blank, it starts in 6 frames, used to start in 8. So yeah, good move, getting faster. You have 2 less frames to block this move. Riot Javelin, that's specifically the level 1 here. Increased hit stop when the grounded follow-up version lands. So that'd be this guy here, that's the follow-up version. So more hit stop there, so maybe easier to DHC into, all that kind of stuff. Increased stun time when the grounded follow-up lands here. So like, just making it a lot easier to hit, basically overall. And level 3. So he needed a new level 3, right? That's what we're all thinking. He needed a new level 3. So this is the regular level 3. Now it has a new input if you input with heavy and the key blast button at the same time. He'll do a different version of the move. Now it's not too crazy. It's just basically a side switcher, right? But sometimes the side switcher is what you need. So now he has a side switching version of his level 3 super. So Broly. We all know Broly needed buffs and a lot of buffs. Now buffs he got. Maybe not as many as I would have liked. But we can be very thankful Broly got buffed at least. First up here, Stand S. Now hits small characters when you're mildly close. Like, you can actually use it. Now, it'll still whiff at certain ranges, unfortunately. There is a sour spot, I guess you would call it. But at least at this distance, it'll hit when it never, ever would have before. One of Broly's biggest issues has always been the rat characters. And now he has at least a little bit better time fighting against them. Although, as you can see, the issues still persist. Broly can now hold a lot of his big boy moves. So like regular Layered Express and medium, 1125 for damage, right? Now you can hold it. The screen shakes, and now does 1440. You know why? Because he needs more options. EX, 1350, held version of EX, 1665. Also, his command grab got buffed. Does more damage because he needs it. Does 1600 now, used to do 1500. Not as significant a buff as Android 16's, but Android 16 is in a much more dire spot than Broly, so I guess that's fine. We can buff Broly's damage more the next patch. Also, the medium version of Gigantic Strike does more damage as well, because he needs it. Broly's Barrier has been buffed, as it is now invincible to all assists, because he needs it very badly, and I'm glad this much needed buff was given to this character who struggled, because before, he could have Barrier, and assists would just hit him. That's crazy. Why should he be able to be hit by assists? Now, he can't be hit by assists. Broly's A assist is now more plus on block, kind of in line with some other changes. Also, his B assist now has more hits, so it's now 5 hits in total. Used to be 4 hits. So just easier to hit, confirm stuff, all that kind of stuff. Just works it to his benefit. So glad to see Broly got buffs. He definitely could have used a lot more than what he got. I hope in the future he gets even more buffs and more buffs and more buffs, and doesn't matter how much you complain, he's going to get buffed and he's going to get buffed and he's going to get buffed. And that's how it works. Spoiler, the big guy wins in the end. Vegito, so off the bat here, Stand M now goes a lot further than it used to. Also, it's much faster than it used to be. Point blank, it hits in 9 frames. Before that would have been 12. So on top of the big range buff, it is now 3 frames faster startup. So, yo, like, this goes really far. This goes really, really, really far. Like, I thought that would miss, and it still hit. So yeah, pretty big buff on that. And also, it's not just the medium, it's the heavy too. Heavy goes further, and although not quite as far as the medium, but it does go further. Spiral heel shot, that's the big kicks here, flippy kicks. So the medium version here has reduced damage scaling for the grounded version only when the camera motion occurs. So right here, and you see the smash effect, right? So if you use this and you get the smash effect, then your combo will basically do more overall damage than it did before. And also the EX version, much the same here. When the camera effect happens, the smash effect, reduced overall damage scaling. The dunk, the atomic buster, when done in the air, now has the anti-air property. Once again, like many other changes, not frame one, and as you can see there, not a guarantee you'll get it, because hitboxes are weird sometimes, but it's very usable against super dashes now. Split finger shot does more chip damage, although given the nature of the move, usually most of the projectiles will miss, but still, like many other moves in the game, just the chip damage has been upped a little bit. How about the big super here, you know, final Kamehameha, you know, big old beam. How about we add a different version of the move? So if you want to hold the button while you're doing it, he'll now burn an additional bar. And here we go. We got a little bit of a follow-up here, and we get the dunk afterwards. So you now have effectively a level 4 super. So if you're looking to burn all your meter, this is definitely a way to do it. Not sure who asked for this, but, well, you got it. But yeah, not a lot of major changes, but Stand M being turned into one of the best buttons in the game, just out of nowhere, definitely a big buff for sure. Having a level 4 super now, but definitely a big buff. So, hey, if you're a Vegito fan, I guess you should be pretty happy. Okay, it's Zamasu time, and Zamasu, he's doing pretty good. First up here, stand medium. Now 4 frames faster. Used to be point blank, it used to be 12 frames. So now it is 8 frames. Obviously, these bonus frames carry over when you want to use it in a distance. So the move is just overall 4 frames faster. How about stand S? Let's tag in one of the rats, and it'll speak for itself as it hits. No longer do the rats hold tyranny over Zamasu stand S. He can actually use it, and it can actually hit them. And before you ask it, it can even hit them crouching. That is how much this move has been changed. So yeah, crouching, they can be running at you, it doesn't really matter. The move now just actually works. Awesome. Eternal Justice, that is the big slicer move. So now the move has a better hitbox at hitting lower to the ground, probably will help with some combo possibilities. States here can now be linked into Heaven's Flash by pressing the unique attack button on whiff, meaning you can fly on whiff. So that's awesome. And also, we'll get to flight in a minute, don't worry. This flight's a lot better. The light and medium versions of Eternal Justice have less recovery when linked into Heaven's Flash to flight. The medium version has better sliding knockdown when done from flight. The EX version has a better sliding knockdown when you have the camera change, so when it hits as a smash attack. Wall of Light, that is the lightning summon. So one of the bigger changes here, Wall of Light, can now be linked into Heaven's Flash by pressing the unique button during the motion, meaning you can do it and immediately just go into flight when you do it. Just press the key boss button here when you're getting your lightning set up, and you'll immediately just fly. So that is really strong. Keep in mind though, performing it while you're flying now will take you out of the fly. However, just hit the key blast button again and then you're flying. So kind of zero sum, just change for the sake of a change. Okay, now for the flight, Heaven's Flash Self. You move so much faster. Oh my god, you move so much faster. Also, the move lasts for quite a bit longer than it did before. So if you like the idea of flying in the air and it just never really worked out, there you go. This is so much better than it ever was before. Also, as an additional bonus, when you dash, you get this like quick little short-range teleport when you're flying. And you can do this at any point when you're doing your fly, or anything you cancel into a fly. So you can go slicer, cancel in the fly, and then cancel that fly into a dash. So your mobility is increased by a massive amount. And keeping in mind here, so Divine Order, that's the projectile, right? So if you are in flight and you do Divine Order, and then you hit the S button again, you'll automatically do the dash. So you can just be on top of the enemy here and just be on the other side. Like, it's ridiculous. There's so much about this. It's so good. Like, specifically here, if we want to use it in the combo sense, right? Hit, teleport for free. I can keep attacking immediately afterwards. It's just so good. His A assist has more hit stop, meaning it's just a little bit easier to confirm the hit when it connects. That's good. The B assist now moves a little bit forward, a little bit. Not a lot more, but it's better than what it was. The distance is overall longer than what it was originally. So Zamasu, man, I don't know if I'm going to say he's the most improved character, but he's definitely the most fun compared to where he was originally. Because the new Flight, all the options from Flight, it just gives him so much more than he had before. Definitely a big win here. Base form Goku. So like many other Gokus here, Crouch Light is now 0 on block. So very good for stagger pressure. Stand Heavy got a little bit of a range buff. It's not a big one, not compared to like other Gokus, like Super Saiyan Goku going like 90% of the map with his Crouch Medium. Base Goku did not get that buff, just so you know. But it's a decent little range buff. The Crouching S's, I call these the Shang Tsung Fireballs, because Shang Tsung had it first. Has a little bit of a damage buff, so that's handy. Base Goku has an all-new move. So down and medium in the air is the big old dive kick. You'll see him do this like at the end of the Shang Tsung Fireballs, that kind of stuff here. You can now do this on demand. So he'll teleport forward a little bit and then do a big old stomp. He'll do his best to track with the enemy, as you can see here. Even if I like cross him up, he'll go correct. If I'm full screen, he'll still stomp you. So time will tell how strong this is. But it's a full screen. I'm always on you no matter what teleport, so pretty good to me. The medium and EX versions of his back toss command grab are now faster. So the medium used to be 24, now 22, and the EX is currently 20, and that also used to be 24. So they're just 4 frames faster, like for the EX, and 2 frames faster for the medium. So you catch people asleep at the wheel a little bit better. Also, the light grab, the quicker one now. I guess EX is roughly the same speed, although I guess spend the bar. Once again, also greatly, dramatically improved by the Tag Anywhere buff on specials. Because before, you didn't really get it. You chucked them, but that was it, right? But now you chuck them and you get a full combo convert. That's a lot better. Kamehameha, just like other Gokus. If you want to do the up version, you can super dash cancel it. So that will definitely be a big boon to combo structure. Lend Me Your Energy now has a new input. So you can still do it the old way, and if you have no levels at all, it'll still happen before you can toss your little spirit ball. But it is now down, down, S. So you can just do it as its own motion. So you don't have to worry about like only getting level 1. Then like, oh, I guess I got to toss the spirit ball at level 1 or whatever, right? You can now safely go down, down, S. Down, down, S, down, down, S, and all of a sudden, when you know it, you got a level 3 spirit ball and just go right from there. So, nice quality of life change for sure. Kaioken also got some changes. So first up here, when no other options remain, like you've used up all the allotted moves you can do, any button will do the proper finisher. So you can just literally mash. And don't worry, you'll get the finisher you actually want. So that is pretty cool. Also, because why not, if you want to start with the heavy version here, the grab, that now has a guard point. It is armored. Now, this is the only part that is armored. It has to be the grab. If you try to do the regular version, you'll still get stuffed. Like, you'll get your claw clean. Like, that's not going to work. So it has to be Kaioken Heavy Starter. That guy right here, the grab. But if you do it, well then, welcome to your new reversal. You got one now. So that's really cool. So overall, man, I don't know. Base Goku, he got some stuff. Like, more Spirit Bomb control is cool. The whole new unique attack is cool. He obviously benefits from the Goku Super Dash, new changes, all that stuff. Things might just work out for him. That and the fact he's a much better grappler, because... and just the fact he's a much scarier grappler now, due to both universal changes and the fact the other grabs are much faster. Might have to watch out. He's rising up the ranks. For base form Vegeta, one of the more interesting changes here, crouching and jumping unique attack here, the down unique attack, this is where it kind of lobs the mortar here, now has a forward version. So as written here, added the ability to change the trajectory with a forward input. Trajectory changing input can be performed right up until the start of the attack. So air or ground, you had the close version, you had the further version, now you got the farthest version. So it'll be interesting to see just how this kind of affects a lot of his screen control, but you can shoot it so far in the air, like it'll literally go over the enemy's head on the other side of the screen. So we'll see how that plays out. EX knee drop, the big old teleport overhead here, actually is a little bit faster now. So at the fastest possible timing, it's 24 frames. Before, it would have been 26 frames. And all other timings, it just works out a little bit better. It's generally just 2 frames faster across the board. So it's just a little bit better catching people off guard. I have no use for Saiyans that can't move. That's his upchuck here. So he actually now moves a little bit forward while doing it. So if you're doing like combos that spike people down, it'll be just a smidge easier to catch them. So basically quality of life buff, but a nice one. Assists. The A assist has more hit stop, so the enemy is just frozen in place for just a little bit longer than normal. So just a little bit easier to confirm and get your hit. The B version of his assist here, the dash kick, has sped up the startup. So now a couple frames faster and at 20 frames. If you've been watching and not just skipping ahead at the points, you might notice this is a kind of a theme going on in this patch. A lot of the quick assists are now much quicker at 20 frames. And that's really about it for the big stuff. Base Vegeta, spoiler, he's always been one of the best characters in the game, so he didn't need too much. Although some of the other best characters in the game are getting like massive buffs, so I don't know, whatever, right? But he definitely isn't worse off than he was before, so there you go. Cooler. So first up here, it says crouch light attack, increased distance move during the attack. That's wrong because he doesn't move forward at all. I'm assuming they mean it's now 0 on block like so many other crouch lights that are not low hitting moves, because that is not mentioned at all in the patch notes. So I think that's an error in the patch notes. So just like a lot of other characters, 0 on block. Stand M now moves a little bit further. So at this exact range, it would have whiffed before, which is good because with so many other characters getting longer range normals, Cooler's whole identity was I'm the guy with the long range normals, right? So at the very least, this remains pretty strong. Thank God for it. Otherwise, he'd be losing a lot of his identity. Keeping that in mind, crouch medium. Cooler has to keep his identity as I'm the long range guy, so the range has been pretty significantly buffed, as you can see. Like, it would never in a million years hit from this far away before. So, thankfully, the range is still good. Also, unlike some of the other buffs here, other characters got, theirs involves travel time. Since Cooler's tail is just the tail, it's 13 frames at the point, it's 13 frames at the absolute tip. So it's a little better than some of those other guys that need a little bit of travel time. Standing and jumping S. That's his little finger tap of doom here. Enlarge the move's hitbox during startup. This is purely for combo reasons, as there are several combo structures where if you go for an S, you might miss. This will help alleviate that. Not too big of a deal on paper, but it just makes a little bit of combo stuff easier. Jump S specifically has more hit stun now. So it's easier to link certain things, easier to confirm certain hits. Like sometimes it can be a little difficult if you saw you get the hit to go into vanish. That's easier now. Crushing Stomp, that is forward and heavy. So it just basically just has increased stun time. So a little easier to convert off stuff and for combo ability. His down, forward, heavy, the uppercut. We all know the uppercut's immune to a lot of stuff in this game, and now it's immune to one more thing, as it is now immune to all assists on top of everything else. This is Cooler's I don't want to play the game move, and now it has another layer of I don't want to play the game by going past all assists. Death Crasher, that is the grounded level 1 super, now has a faster startup. And also says here that it extended the move's hitbox downwards. That part I'm not too sure about, honestly. But there is a lot of situations where you can spike the enemy down and like you want to go for level 1, but you're not close enough. And the faster startup should help alleviate those issues. His A assist is 2 frames faster now. Used to be 27 before. It was always by far the slowest of all the uppercut style assists, so that is a pretty welcome change. Also, it says increased stun time, which is also a very welcome change because it put the enemy much higher up in the air than some of the other uppercut assists. And sometimes it can be difficult to follow up and reach in time. So just it makes the move, the assist, better all around. His B assist has a faster startup now. It definitely isn't fast. Cannot accuse this move of being fast at all as far as the assist goes, but it's about 6 frames faster than it used to be, so that's good. And also, just like it's a normal version, the move is now invincible to assists as well. So overall, decent changes. I'll speak from the heart as a Cooler super fan. He definitely could have got a lot more than what he did. But I guess we'll have to take it. At least his range is intact. Because if he lost the range, with everyone else getting all this new range, that would have been the end of him. That was the one best part about him, right? So he has that still at least. Android 17. So off the bat here, stand medium. Hey, like many other characters, increased distance move during the attack, but the problem is it's still kind of crap, right? It's definitely better than it was before, but considering like a lot of characters hit from like half screen now, definitely not quite as strong, but still take anything you can get. Sliding sweep, so that's down, forward, and heavy. Got some interesting changes here. It is now an anti-air move. Not frame 1, right? But it now is anti-air, so that's pretty interesting. Also has more active attack frames, meaning the move can hit for longer during the whole part of the move, meaning it's even easier to beat stuff like a super dash. Just interesting change. Speaking of the anti-air stuff here, Excel Driver, which also in previous patch became an anti-air, it now becomes anti-air okay earlier. Not frame 1, but earlier. So all of a sudden now, 17's got all sorts of anti-air options. Keeping along with this here, so we had Excel Driver, Finishing Driver, same deal. Finishing Driver, that's quarter circle back versions, also become anti-air okay earlier on in the move. Not frame 1, as you can see, you can still get counter hit, but they are anti-air earlier on in the move. Also, because why not? It is now invincible to projectiles and assists partway through the move. This is the Finishing Driver version, specifically the quarter circle back version. So it has a lot of invincibility to work with. Power Blitz Charge, that's this guy here before he gets the big old fireball, right? The wording is a little misleading. It says increase hit stop on block. It's less increased hit stop on block and more that it's safe on block now. So it's -5. It used to be -28 when done in and of itself by itself, right? So the wording is a little misleading, but yeah, it's -5 on block now. The increased hit stop also added to the assist version, and C assist, as always, it's faster for most of the cast, right? 17, I definitely expected he could have got more changes than this, I'm not going to lie. But he got what he got, so I guess that's all there is to say. So, Jiren, one of the first things here, down heavy is 2 frames faster. It used to be a 15 frame move, now is a 13 frame move. Also, he moves a bit further than he used to. The whole animation seems to be like turbocharged to me compared to how it was before. There also is less recovery, so everything about the move is just faster, better. Speaking of faster and better, down S. This is one of Jiren's big boy moves here. 14 frames now, used to be 18 frames. So it's 4 frames faster. Considering this is a pretty dominant move in the game, that's pretty big buff. Jumping down heavy now is invincible full out partway through the motion. So not at the start, but just invincible full out. If you see a camera shift like that, the smash attack version, it will also do more damage. Also, when you get the smash version here with the camera shift on a full charge stomp, specifically, it causes a very small ground bounce, which you can follow up afterwards. So that's kind of interesting. Jumping down S, which has always been one of his best moves to bully with, is now 3 frames faster. So at point blank here, 10 frames, used to be 13. Considering this is straight up one of his best moves, that is pretty dang good. The medium Infinity Rush has reduced damage scaling, meaning if you use it in combos, you will do more overall damage with the combo. Now, one of the things here, this is a nerf technically, counter impact can now be thrown again. So I guess that was an unintended change back when it beat basically every single move in the game. You can bare minimum now just hit him with a Dragon Rush or a throw or whatever, and it indeed will connect now. Colossal Uppercut. This is his alternate level 1 super. Now does more damage. So before it used to do 2400, and now it does 2600. So it does 200 more base damage before any scaling. And of course it'll do more damage after scaling as well. Also the shoulder charge, and this applies to both the EX... Also, shoulder charge, this applies to both the regular and the assist version of the move, is also now invincible to all assists. So that's pretty handy. Not a lot of big changes. The grab didn't get any faster, as you can tell, right? But decent changes, faster projectile, all that kind of stuff. It works out in his favor. Videl. So let's start with the showstopper. So she still doesn't have a reflect. It's still the dodge. But now, if you successfully dodge a move and immediately hit the S button again, you will do a free reversal follow-up. And considering the nature of the move here, if you dodge, it's basically guaranteed there have really no way of blocking. There will be some like safe jump setups, I'm sure they can, but for a lot of the time, it'll work, and as you can see, it will auto-correct. So you don't gotta worry too much about like gimmickry. You do have to successfully dodge though. You can't just hit the S again and it works. Only after you see like that little flash after you dodge will you get that follow-up attack. Stand medium is now 3 frames faster, 8 frames versus 11. And as you can see here, even in the active frames, it takes a while. You have to be pretty far away to get in like later active frames for the move to hit. So just way quicker. Stand heavy now moves further. It doesn't move a Titanic range further. But still moves further nevertheless. All the Saiyaman moves do more damage across the board. So before they do like 850, they do 1000 now. Before they'd only do 1000 if you were powered up. And now it's just 1000, the base version. Like, so that is pretty dang strong. And of course, naturally, if you do want to power it up, right? So let's say here, we'll go in here and we'll power it up here. So Great Saiyaman powered up. And now instead of 1000, that's 1200. So yeah, just all these moves are much more damaging across the board. The medium and heavy versions of the Frankensteiner also do more damage. So that's 1400 in total. It used to be like, that'd be like 1000 in total. And much the same here if we want to do the EX version. That's 1500 in total. So they just do more damage across the board. Although the light version, the damage will remain the same. Her moonsault kicks now are invincible after a little bit of startup into the move, as you can see there. So that's pretty interesting. So if you can't get past the original startup, you're not going to mash out a hitter. You have to deal with the fact that she's just actually invincible now. Defender of Love and Justice, that is the counter super. So one of the things that's very interesting about this, so we're going to go through a whole big taunt and all that kind of stuff, sure. And look at the enemy's meter. They're losing meter. They lost meter. It steals meter from the enemy now. That is how effective the taunt is. So starting at 3 meters for Frieza here, he gets a little bit for getting hit. But then as you can see, the taunt keeps going. It's draining, it's draining, it's draining. And by the time it's done, you lost a lot. Like, that's not nothing. That's actually a very interesting way to balance this move. Also, if you do the move multiple times, it actually just does way more damage. As you see here, it does over 3000 damage now, right? So that is also pretty cool. And her Wake Up Super here, Justice Revenge, now has a fair bit faster startup than it used to before. I don't think Videl is going to be jumping up the tier list in a major way. Like, a little bit, yes. Because Videl's still a weird and hard character in the end. But these are some pretty good changes overall. GT Goku. So obviously, GT Goku not getting a mountain of buffs, right? He's terrorized the game for too long. But he's got some interesting changes. First up, down and S, the pogo. So he could do it before, and he could hold down back and be shorter, but now he can hold down forward, and he'll actually just whip across the screen, as you can see here. Like, it's basically a full screen pogo vault. So that is all new to the patch and pretty interesting. Like so many other Gokus, Kamehameha, you can now super dash after the fact, allowing for more interesting combo structure. And the A assist. We all know this bad boy. Used to be the best assist in the game for a while, and not so much anymore. Although it's still pretty decent, and they made it better. So it has more stun time. It has more hit stop, meaning it's a lot easier to confirm off of. Maybe not quite its former glory days, sure, but one of the things that was really good about it is it held the enemy in place, and it was very easy to confirm after the fact, and that it does again. So not a lot of changes for GT Goku, but I wouldn't want changes anyways. I don't know. I don't want him back on top. He had his time. For Janemba, like many other characters, with a crouching light that doesn't hit low, it is now 0 on block, meaning his stagger pressure has gotten quite a bit better. Stand medium kick has a little bit more range, although not a lot more range, but take what you can get. Demonic Blade, increase the distance moved during the attack. So that means the medium version hits from most of the screen now, and the EX version does hit from full screen. Janemba's Light Grab, the Mystic Arm, is now 5 frames faster. So this move is a lot better than it was before. Considering it also has a fair bit of range, unlike some of the other command grabs, you'll catch people sleeping with this a lot. Even at its absolute like max range, at its absolute slowest around here, it's still way faster than it ever was before, even when it was point blank. So that is a massive buff to this move. Big, big buff. As for the EX and medium versions, well, they hit from way further away. Like the EX hits from like that far away. So like if you want your 75% of the screen command grab, it's still the same speed it was before, I guess, but can't argue with the distance, right? So another guy who grappling game was pretty weak, and now all of a sudden out of nowhere has become a giant threat of a grappler. Like, you gotta pay attention. Teleports. Okay, so here's where it gets fun. So remember too the universal change. So any teleport that leaves you in the air, you're automatically super jump installed, so you can float any direction you want. So that'll help us mix up game already. That's a base level change. And now you can warp wherever you want. You have 2 warps. So simply warp whatever direction you're going to do, and then enter another direction you want, and then hit the key blast button, and you'll double warp in that direction. So if I want to go like up, down, there you go. If I were to want to go forward, back, there you go. Like you can choose any 2 directions. The base original direction you chose, and then an additional direction after the fact. So very cool, very strong. You'll definitely be able to freak people out with this kind of stuff. Because am I going to double teleport? Am I going to single teleport? Am I going to 1 teleport and then use air control to float over? Am I going to do that and then like, you know, go different? Like the possibilities are much higher than they've ever been before. B assist also faster startup than it had originally. Overall, I am very impressed with these Janemba changes. He's much more of a threat as far as like, you know, sword control using the screen. He can actually control big chunks of the screen with the sword. That's really good. And now he's a much more accomplished grappler. He will catch you sleeping 20 frames. You're not reacting to that. Let's get real, right? You're not reacting to that, so that's good. And then all of a sudden he can just snatch it from like 90% of the screen with a command grab and go from there. So that is really, really strong. Add in the fact that the universal changes let him float off any teleport, which is really good. And he just has multiple teleports now, which is also really good. Janemba definitely, he got out good. Hey, you always wanted this to hit as a low, right? Yo, if you got a 20 frame command grab, you no longer need a low hitting. That is how you catch people. Janemba definitely made out pretty good in this patch. Gogeta Blue, first up here, standing light attacks. Now move further. Not a lot further, but they do move further. Crouching light attack is now a lot faster. So it is 9 frame startup compared to before, I believe it was like 11 frame startup. So the move, it's just better. Like there's no point in saying, oh, this is too slow. A 9 frames low, especially one that can like travel quite a bit, man, it's fine. It's good. Don't worry. Shaving 2 frames off the move makes it pretty dang strong in my opinion. Crouching S has a slightly adjusted knockback on hit, but you can still follow up pretty good, so don't worry there. Is jumping down heavy. If you manage to use it like as a smash and a combo, it will now have a little bit of a ground bounce effect, meaning you can use assist to follow up after the fact. Jumping down S to Gallop Gun is now quite a bit faster. It's actually 4 frames faster than it used to be. At point blank, it is now 18. It used to be 22. So the move is just a lot faster and better to use. Also, of course, to adjusted knockback on hit as the other one. Soul Strike. So it's either the finisher Rekka, the EX Ender, or if you just do the EX version as it is. If it won't cause the camera shift effect to smash and get the wall bounce, it'll instead just always be a sliding knockdown. So if you don't get your combo ability, you'll at least get your sliding knockdown. Same deal here, the EX version of the uppercut. If it does not grant the wall bounce, it'll give you a sliding knockdown instead. The multiplex after image, the beams, now also have an enlarged hitbox as well. A assist is faster startup here, so when done at point blank, it will now be 30 frames of startup. Originally, the move was a decent amount slower, coming in at 35 frames of startup, so 5 frames have been shaved off the move. The B assist now has more hits done on the final hit, like some of the other uppercut style assists in the game here, so just a little bit easier to combo after the fact. So overall, Gogeta better at the beams, and the crouch light buff is definitely a welcome buff for him. Dragon Ball Super Broly. Standing light goes a little bit further, although it's still slow startup, so kind of whatever, honestly. Now the stomps. Specifically, not the first stomp, but the follow-up stomps. They have all had their damage increased across the board. It's not a lot, but still more damage is more damage. His crouching S, his beam, has a few frames shaved off it. So at quickest possible timing, it is 24 frames. Used to be 28 frames. So 4 frames off the big beam, that's pretty nice. That makes it a lot more workable and neutral for sure. Raging Quake now hits higher up during the move, so that should help just doing the move raw as it is, because once again too, like that's a special cancelable little gimmick you can do. May affect some combo structure, I guess time will tell on that. The light and EX versions of the command grab, while the move speed is the same, they both have more active frames, so it can help with combo ability at the very least. Eraser Blow. So it states here, adjusted the knockback when the move hits at the edge of the screen, meaning you can do the grab follow-up and not have to do any weird like micro dash stuff. Now mid-screen, that hasn't really changed. As you can see, you're pretty far away, right? But in the corner, there's no more tricks, there's no more gimmicks, it just works. Just do it and you got it. End of story. The air movable super does a little bit more damage, not too much more. And his assists all have more hit stop on block, meaning it's just a little easier to visually assess that you saw the block. Honestly, could have got a lot more, like frankly. I like the faster beam. That's cool, I guess. But other than that, the boy definitely could have got a lot more than what he got. He's not a bad character, sure, right? But considering this might be the last patch the game ever gets, I would have hoped they would have gone a little bit more crazy on him. So Kefla, one of the more odd changes here, is the third hit of her auto combo, the dropkick, now has the anti-air property. I guess that's good, that's a buff, but it's definitely an odd pick. Kefla, like many other characters, can now follow up after a projectile. However, her version here, is of course like a forward and medium, did not get the recovery buff like Android 21 got. Android 21 has basically a strictly superior version of this move. I find it weird because it's kind of the same move in a way, that Android 21 got the recovery buff and Kefla did not, but them's the breaks. But at bare minimum, more combo routes, more combo potential, I'm down for it. Her EX version of the move, during the second part of the projectile, you are also okay to super dash afterwards. So just making that a bit more useful. For Ain't Nobody Can Stop Me, that's her fist dunk here. They all do more damage across the board. Every version does 100 more damage than it used to originally. The version that is medium also has a bit faster startup than it had originally. At point blank, it is 18 frames. Originally, it was 20 frames. So that's nice. Also, across the board, the moves are immune to Ki Blast now. So if you want to use this as like a get-in tool, it's a lot better at doing exactly that, because it can shrug off Ki Blasts. The EX version is also 2 frames faster and hits from much further away. Like I'm talking almost full screen. Not quite full screen, but like 90% of the screen, it'll connect now. So, random full screen EX, let's go. Gigantic Breaker is also now completely invulnerable to all assists. Doesn't matter what kind of assist it is now invulnerable to all assists. Her assist, the A assist, is now more plus on block. It's plus 30 instead of plus 25. Her B assist is 6 frames faster. It used to be 36. Also is plus 1 more on block. Used to be plus 44, is now plus 45. So overall, decent changes. It helps the go, go, go playstyle of Kefla, as you're very much more incentivized just to do random dunks here, considering they now bypass all ki blasts, and they do more damage. UI Goku. Not a big change list, all things considered. The big thing here, jumping unique attack, jump S. For one, it cannot hit crouchers no matter what. Even on Big Boy Broly, and it's clearly kind of going through him a little bit. Cannot hit crouchers. Although now, on the flip, it is a faster startup. Now, not by a lot. It's 17 frames. Used to be 18 frames. It's a frame faster. But still, faster is faster. It does state here, the move will now cause a ground bounce, because it normally causes a wall bounce, when it hits the opponent at a low height. Now, that I don't know. I've tried to test this myself here. I'm a low height, it doesn't work. Maybe they jumped and they're a low height, doesn't work. No matter what, I can't seem to trigger this. So if you know how to trigger this on purpose, hey, post it in the comments below. But otherwise, I'm not sure what they mean on the language. It's either myself at low height or the enemy at a low height. Kinda neither way works. A really silly one is Unencumbered Mind. So if you do like the flip and the grab, all that kind of stuff here, 1200, right? But the more you delay the move, the more the move will do damage. So now, it does over 2000 damage. Same here, like say we do the light flip here, right? So 1000 by itself, but then we're gonna flip like crazy, and then now it's 2000. So the more you just faff around, the stronger the move will get. So yes, that counts as a buff to UI Goku. His forward Kamehameha is also 2 frames faster. The backwards one, though, remains the same. His forward Kamehameha is now about a frame or so faster, but the backwards one remains the same. This also applies to the assist version of the move, just FYI. So, not many changes for UI Goku. He's kind of really good as it stands. He's fine. So, Master Roshi, one of the more interesting changes off the bat here. It's actually a nerf, I suppose. So, stand heavy. So, he just conks you with the cane here. Increased, not decreased, increased damage scaling when the camera motion occurs. So, when you get the smash effect. So, it means you'll be doing less damage in combos if you use this. Now, he'll make this up in other ways, but it is what it is. Now, one of the cool things here is the Masterful Leap, his little King of Fighters short hop here, has effectively no more recovery when landing. So, if we do this here, we do a hop into like jump light. That is now plus on block. Before, due to the landing recovery, that would have been negative on block. The way it's worded, it sounds like it only applies to the base leap, but as far as I can tell, it's pretty much all of them. You get to just jump the second you hit the ground. On that note, the back kick, where you hit back and medium and you do the Iori from King of Fighters style kick. That has a much better hitbox now, so if you're using this to cross up, it'll work a lot better. Also, to boot, the move itself is faster. So at point blank, it's 11 frames. Before, this move used to be 15 frames. So it is now 4 frames faster, meaning you're 4 frames more likely to actually get the cross up and hit the enemy. Rising Phoenix, that's the command normal here, down, forward, and heavy. They just gave it a better hitbox. Hits higher up than it used to before. For the Wise Warrior moves, that's Corsical 4, light, medium, heavy. If you do the medium version specifically, you are now allowed to do a Kamehameha follow-up afterwards, so you can keep the combo going. That is specifically only the air version. If you do it on the ground, then you're just going to get the hop, because hey, that's how that works, right? All the moves basically do more damage. The EX version also has faster startup than it has originally here. Starts in 11 frames now, and also does more damage than it did before. Martial Spirit. This is where he hulks up and hits you. So now these moves have reduced damage scaling if you get the camera effect, the smash attack, right? So I guess the idea is less using stand heavy in combos and more using hulking out in combos. For the assist, Roshi's A assist, the beam, now has, it says increased attack duration, has more stun time on hit as well here, just making it just a bit more useful because generally speaking, the B assist was always the way to go. And the B assist, well, it got a little bit of a nerf because it says shorten time which the move is invincible. Otherwise, you know, the armor property, right? So that, the A version got buffed, the B version got nerfed a little bit. So overall, Roshi changes are a little weird to me, but I'm not a Roshi main, so make of them as you will. For Super Baby, not too many changes. One of the ones here, EX version of the dunk, now has more stun time, so it's basically just easier to follow up with after the fact. The I'm going to enjoy this, that's the Corsical back, light, medium, heavy. The aerial versions now have the anti-air property, but as you can see, with all the other moves that have this style of movement upwards, just because you're invincible to the air attack doesn't mean you necessarily got the hit in, right? Because Super Dash is really weird in this game. Also, not frame 1, just so you know. I believe only the EX version's frame 1, and that's on the ground. But still, there you go. It now has the anti-air property, as it should have from the beginning. And specifically, once again, this is the air version. The grounded versions were already anti-air. Revenge Final Flash has sped up the air version. And this is by quite a bit, because now it's 20 frames of startup. Before this, it was 28 frames of startup. So that is 8 frames shaved off the move. That's a lot. The grounded version, however, has remained unchanged. So if we do like a Tiger Knee version of the air version, it is a lot faster from full screen than the grounded version, which also puts you up in the air anyways. So basically always do the Tiger Knee version if you can help it. If you're looking for it to be on the ground, and if you're looking for it to be on the air, well then it's just faster and better. His steal move, where he steals your character and then does their assist, is now invincible against projectiles and assists. But only him, not the assist itself. So at least he won't get conked in the head, sure, but anyone you're summoning will. But at the very least, if you're using this to like annoy and harass and all that kind of stuff, it'll make it a lot more useful because you won't just get blown away by a stray assist or key blast or whatever. So it's more useful in that regard. And that's it for Baby. Not many changes. He's a very recent character after all. And finally, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So like many characters, the crouch light is now 0 frames on block because it does not hit low. The leg breaker, so this is the follow-up to the command normal that hits low. So increased block stun, reduced recovery, meaning the move is now plus on block. It used to be negative on block. Not punishable, but negative, right? So now, if they, block the move correctly, it is still your turn. So that's pretty cool. Lightning Hammer, that's his gut punch here. All versions go a little bit further than they did originally. Bluff Kamehameha, this is the command grab. Now is 24 frame startup, used to be 26. So the move is 2 frames faster than it used to be, meaning you're just that much more likely to catch someone with the move. Plus Energy of Justice, that's the big move that gets you the Dragon Ball, can now call assist on hit, specifically. So not on block, but if you get the hit, you can call assist. Now, really depends on the assist here. I got bad assist choices, I guess, but it is an option available to you now. Also, like many other characters in the game, his B assist has now been buffed to 20 frames of startup. So quite a bit faster than where it was originally. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, a newer character, the newest character, so obviously not too much in the way of changes. And there you have it. So I'm sure this is a very long video. I've not edited it yet as of the time of me talking. I'm sure it's going to be a super long video, so I hope you enjoyed. Once again, I very rarely ask this, but please drop a like. That'd be very appreciated. And overall, this is an amazing patch. Definitely could have used the rollback netcode. We're missing that. That sucks. But other than that, this patch gave so much more to the game. Almost the majority of the cast is much more exciting to play than they used to be. There's definitely some standouts, some more than others. But overall, Just 2 thumbs up. Can't say too much more than that. Great patch. Very happy for the game. And I guess this is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.